A lot of people, when this stuff happens, they'll say, oh, it was because of alcohol, or oh, people are going to say stuff, but they really don't know what happened. Dana White said it wasn't, yes, alcohol was involved, but that's not an excuse. He also said that if people are going to shit talk me, I deserve it right now. He knows that he fucked up. What the fuck is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kevin Hoop Show, and we've got some breaking news for you today. It's not the best news, but it's just something that's going on in the UFC right now with Dana White and everything. There's been a video going around recently, in the past day or two, where you actually see Dana White slapping his wife. It was at a nightclub or something like that for New Year's Eve. We are going to look at the video a little later, but I just want to give some of my thoughts first. There's some things to take into factor here, or to think about when thinking about the situation. Obviously, these two are married. They've been together for a long time. We don't know everything that goes on in their lives when it comes to arguments, or, how they really deal with conflict between each other. And I think that, Dana White's came out and said that their main priority is making sure that their kids are okay, which I think is the right kind of mentality to have for it. He said that these two are they've calmed down, they've figured everything out, they're okay with each other now, and I'm sure that they definitely have a history with each other, and I'm sure that this sort of stuff can happen. Now, to the extent that it happened in this video, I don't think it should have ever been taken this far. I don't think a man should ever lay his hands on a woman. But that's my opinion, so not everybody shares that. I do want to add that, yes, there was alcohol involved, and no, that's not an excuse to lay your hands on a woman. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This situation should not have escalated this far. Everybody gets in arguments. Every relationship has its arguments, no matter who you're in a relationship with. But this sort of stuff to this extent should not go this far. Without further ado, though, let's give the video a quick look. So we've got Dana White and his wife physically assaulting, blah, 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 blah. So you can see Dana White right here and his wife right there, obviously. And if you go back just a little bit right here, so this is kind of in the beginning of the video, Dana White is obviously holding her hands. She seems like she's trying to hit him or something already. Again, I'm not giving Dana White an excuse. I'm just trying to explain what the situation is in the video. So they're talking. She's trying to say something in its ear. Obviously, it's loud here. What are we looking at here? So they're still talking to each other. Dana White's still going to grab for his hands. And you can see right here, there's the slap right there. I kind of skipped over it. But you can see he's still holding her hands right here. He still is holding her left or right hand with his right. She gets it kind of free, and then boom, hits him with the right. And Dana White comes back over with a right hand. Yeah, it's not that pretty. They kind of go back and forth after this. I think he just is trying to really get her hands in control of. He's trying to have control of her hands so they don't hit him. Now, I do know that, some altercations happen where the girl hits first and you always see a guy hit back. Not always, but, some people think that that's okay just because the girl hit first. And then it just seems to kind of de-escalate very fast from there. All the people around, there's things flying. Who knows what's going on here, really? It's that blurry and not good video quality, so it's kind of hard to tell. I don't see Dana White's wife in the picture right here or in the video. He kind of bends over maybe to pick her up. I don't know if she fell. I don't know if she's still trying to hit him. It looks like things got de-escalated pretty quickly after that slap from Dana White happened. And it just didn't seem that good. Who knows why they got into this fight in the first place? It definitely doesn't look good for the company, and it definitely doesn't look good for Dana White's reputation. I do think, though, that he handled things afterwards in the right way. I think that instead of saying I don't give a fuck, who the fuck cares, I don't give a shit, which is what he usually says towards things when people ask him dumb shit or dumb questions. And I don't think this is necessarily a dumb question of why did you hit your wife here? And he said there's no excuses for it. I should not have done that. He said alcohol was not an excuse. I think he dealt with the situation afterwards pretty well. He said none of this should have happened, number one. And number two, that he's really focused on his kids and making sure that his kids aren't perceiving this in a bad or negative way, or making it seem like this is okay to do in his for his kids mentality. They shouldn't be seeing this and then thinking that they can go out and do that when they're that old. It's a lesson to be learned not only for his kids but also for Dana White, to make sure that this never happens again. Now, I know that he has said before that he's been against laying hands on women in general, and this obviously shows the exact opposite of that. To say that it might have happened again, I don't think is the biggest question. I think that it's kind of viable to say this might have happened again. Not saying that Dana White is a wife beater. I'm just hoping that this is the one occasion that it did happen. It happened to be in public, unfortunately, and you just have to deal with it. Hopefully that is the case. Hopefully this doesn't happen a lot in Dana White's behind the scenes life. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. I hope that he learns from this, and I hope that it never happens again in the UFC, or with the light of the UFC on it. The UFC has been a great organization. I don't think anything like this has ever happened with the organization before, when it comes to a man hitting a woman in a completely and unadulterated, shouldn't have happened fashion. Really, that's kind of where I'm at in the whole situation. I think a lot of other people are. It's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, come on, like, this could have easily been avoided. I don't think that a lot of people are, shitting on Dana White, but I do think that a lot of people who don't like Dana White are gonna jump on this and say that, oh, he's a wife beater, he does this all the time. Certain things like that, I think, are just, you shouldn't go that far in these sort of situations. He does have kids, he does have a family. So I think, just watch the video for yourselves. You can really see that it got de-escalated pretty quickly, and I think that it shouldn't have had. Not to say that Dana White didn't mean it, but he definitely meant to, throw his right hand at her. So again, there's no excuses for Dana White. He definitely fucked up here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He messed up. He owned it. That's one thing that I think that is good for Dana White right now, which is hard to say after he just slapped his wife in public. But one thing that he's showing is accountability, which you see a lot of people not do in these sort of situations. A lot of people, when this stuff happens, they'll say, oh, it was because of alcohol, or, oh, people are going to say stuff, but they really don't know what happened. Dana White said yes, alcohol was involved, but that's not an excuse. He also said that if people are going to shit talk me, I deserve it right now. He knows that he fucked up. And I think that showing that accountability right after the fact that it happened shows that he actually understands what is happening in the situation. I don't think we're going to see this happen again with Dana White. And I don't think that Dana White is going to let that happen. I think that he knows he fucked up, and that he's going to show himself in a better light, and maybe, do something to show how sorry he actually is. Just saying you're sorry on TMZ or stuff like that necessarily isn't the biggest thing that you can do. But there definitely is better things to do when it comes to making sure that your kids are perceiving this in the right way, when you have no control over what your kids are really seeing. I'm sure everybody in school, or who knows what the kids are surrounded with in their everyday lives, of people showing them this video or asking them, does your dad beat your wife, blah, 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 blah. That type of shit is what people should really be thinking about when this sort of stuff happens. Dana White knows he fucked up, and obviously I think that this situation could have been worse. It could have not happened at all. It could have been a lot better, and Dana White could not have hit his wife. But I think that this is the situation that happened, and I think that there's a lot of good things that can come out of this. So whether that's Dana White actually going on and doing a lot of talks about people hitting his wife, or doing some sort of thing with his wife saying this is what happened, this is not the type of violence or actions that we support. So I think something like that would definitely help him a little bit. Not saying that he needs the help, or that everyone's criticizing him or giving him scrutiny. I think that Dana White definitely came out on top of this, and not saying he's won, but he's been not hiding behind closed doors. He's been in the front of this. He's been doing interviews about it, saying that I fucked up, I messed up. Really, it's just a bad situation that happened. It shouldn't have happened at all. Hopefully, everybody learns from this and doesn't let that happen in their own lives. Not saying that it should have happened at all. Again, it shouldn't have happened at all. But because it did happen, there's no taking it back. There's no taking that slap back against Dana White's wife. So with that, you have to think about it with an outsider perspective. Well, if you can't take it back, what can you do about it? Well, you can shine some light on it in a way that helps people that are dealing with this in their everyday lives. You can help people who don't know about this sort of thing and show them that this is not the way to go about conflict. Nobody wants to see this happen. But when it does happen, which again, this happens in a lot of more different situations than Dana White and his wife. Domestic violence happens across the entire fucking world. Not just the United States, not just in Dana White's relationship. So I think that him going out in front of this and saying this is not the way to go about things, hands from a man should never be laid on a woman in that sort of fashion, ever, I think is him getting out in front of this and doing something about it, which is doing something good about it, which is making the best out of a shitty situation. So that's really all I've got on it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys have some sort of take on it that is in a positive way, obviously. My heart goes out to Dana White's wife and anybody else dealing with domestic violence, not just Dana White's wife, anybody dealing with domestic violence or violence in a relationship. Don't feel like you're the only one. It happens to the poor people. It happens to the rich people. It happens to the people in the middle. Everybody experiences this in some sort of way. So please speak out if you are someone that deals with these sort of things. And, I'm open to talk to anybody in my comment section about it. And that's really all I got to say about this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and can share some light on it as well. Have a good day.